This is the Scottish Club Rugby Podcast. The Scottish Club Rugby Podcast. With Stuart Cameron and Dale Clancy.
Disregard the nonsense. Hawick secure first place, so should be champions in my world.
Yes, in your world. I would hate to spend more than 10 minutes in your world, because I hate to think what else goes on in there. But you're right. Any league.
Sorry?
You're right. But in reality, out of Stuart Cameron's world, they've secured top spot in the division.
It's a league, isn't it? Or not?
Even you, Stuart, I think if it got to the playoff semi-finals and we had Hawick versus Kelso in this first semi-final, that would be a game that I'm pretty sure you'll be champing at the bit to cover.
Of course I will. There's no doubt about that. But it's not a league, is it? Because when you look at National 1, National 2, National 3, National 4, Ayr are champions. Can you imagine Ayr? They've gone through the whole season unbeaten up to the last 3 games.
Right, but you've got to look at it though. It's a pyramid system.
But the last place you want to play off is to decide the champions of Scotland, surely.
We've spoken about it before. It's to try and promote the club game. It's to try and get more people into these big games at the end of a season.
But you can have that excitement by just doing it in a slightly different way. I mean, just look at the moment. Kelso 25 points behind Hawick. Embrackey's 26 behind. Heriots Blues and Musselburgh both 27 points behind the team that's finished at the top of the table, and yet they could still be crowned Scottish champions. In the case of Accies, they've lost 9 games this season. They could be Scottish champions.
You can't argue the top of the Premiership isn't exciting.
It is exciting, but it's not right.
But it's exciting.
But it's not right.
I'm pretty sure if Kelso are crowned Scottish champions, they'll quite enjoy the playoff format.
I'm sure they will, but it's still not right.
Stirling Wolves, they beat Heriots in the semi-final. Heriots were top of the Super Series and then obviously got beat in the semi. Then they toppled Ayrshire Bulls. It was cup rugby. It was different rugby they had to play. You've got a chance to sneak into the back door.
And that's what I don't like about it. I mean, no disrespect to Embrackey's, great club, lovely club, but they have lost 9 games this season. If they did make it into the playoffs...
Yeah, take Embrackey's out of the conversation because they're not going to finish in 4th.
No, but they could. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
It's not happening. Embrackey's are...
Well, there's more chance of that happening.
No, there's not.
There's more chance of that happening than Hawick conceding 120 points and Mar becoming number 1.
It's just not happening.
You also said that Dundee would lose to Melrose. Didn't happen last weekend. Yeah,
I'm happy to be wrong. I also said Curry would beat Hawick a few months ago, and I got pelters for that as well. I never got pelters when I said Hawick would beat Mar and Mar won, but that's a different story. Ian Chisholm almost provoked me to pick Melrose, and actually the reverse psychology worked because Dundee got the victory. I just think Embrackey's go into their game as second favourites this weekend at Millennium.
And you'd say Heriots Blues have a good chance, huh?
Yeah, Heriots Blues have a good chance.
They've lost 8.
Yeah, but the argument at this point is you think that Embrackey's could finish in 4th, and I don't think they can.
Yeah, but Heriots could, and they've lost 8.
Yeah, they could.
But would you like it if, say, and again, no disrespect to Heriots Blues, but they've lost 8, they could be Scottish champions? That doesn't send the right message, surely.
But everybody starts off at the beginning of the season and nobody's won or lost any games, and they know that you've got to go through, play those. Oh,
sure, absolutely. Everyone knows games. The rules, but is it right, though? And it can't be right. That scenario cannot be right. Stirling Wolves, as you said, won the Super Series in 4th place. There's only 6 teams in it. I just don't think a league should have this sort of scenario.
This is the Scottish Club Rugby Podcast. The Scottish Club Rugby Podcast. With Stuart Cameron and Dale Clancy.